Braja Jana Ranjana Yashodanandana Braja Jana Ranjana Yamuna Tira Vanachari Yamuna Tira Vanachari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jam Vishnupad Paramahamsa Paravarajakacharya Ashtatrashta Shri Srimad Abhay Charan Bhakti Vedanta Swami Prabhupada ki Ananta Koti Vaishnavrinda ki Nama Acharya Śrīdhara Svāmī ki Prem se kaho Shri Kṛṣṇa Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shri-vas Adi Gaur Bhakta Vrinda ki Shri Shri Radha Kṛṣṇa Gop Gopinath Radha Kund Shyama Kund Giri Govardhan ki Vrindavan Dham ki Mayapur Dham ki Ganga Mai ki Yamuna Mai ki Tulsi Devi ki Bhakti Devi ki Samaveta Bhakta Vrinda ki Jai Nitai Gaur Paramananda. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories of glory to Shri Guru and Shri Gauranga. All glories to Shri Prabhupada. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. So reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, second canto, third chapter, and then text. So please repeat. Savai Bhagavato Rājā Pāṇḍaveyo mahā-rathaḥ bāla-krīḍanakaiḥ krīḍan kṛṣṇa-kṛīḍāṁ ādade Savai Bhagavato Rājā Pāṇḍaveyo mahā-rathaḥ bāla-krīḍanakaiḥ krīḍān kṛṣṇa-kṛīḍāṁ ādade Savai Bhagavato Rājā Pāṇḍaveyo mahā-rathaḥ bāla-krīḍanakaiḥ krīḍān kṛṣṇa-kṛīḍāṁ ādade Saha, he. Why? Certainly. Bhagavataḥ, a great devotee of the Lord. Rājā, Mahārāja Parīkṣit. Pāṇḍaveyaḥ, grandson of the Pāṇḍavas. mahā-rathaḥ, a great fighter. Bāla, while a child. Kṛṣṇa-kṛīḍanakaiḥ, with play dolls. krīḍan, playing. Kṛṣṇa, Lord Kṛṣṇa. krīḍām, activities. Yaha, who. Ādade, accepted. Translation and purport by Śrīla Prabhupada. Mahārāja Parīkṣit, the grandson of the Pāṇḍavas, was from his very childhood a great devotee of the Lord. Even while playing with dolls, he used to worship Lord Kṛṣṇa by imitating the worship of the family deity. Purport. In the Bhagavad Gita 6:41, it is stated that even a person who has failed in the proper discharge of yoga practice is given a chance to take birth in the house of a devout brahmanas or in the houses of rich men like Kshatriya kings or rich merchants. But Mahārāja Parīkṣit was more than that, because he had been a great devotee of the Lord since his previous birth, and as such, he took his birth in an imperial family of the Kurus, and especially that of the Pāṇḍavas. So from the very beginning of his childhood, he had the chance to know intimately the devotional service of Lord Kṛṣṇa in his own family. The Pāṇḍavas, all being devotees of the Lord, certainly venerated family deities in the royal palace for worship. Children who appear in such families fortunately generally imitate such worship of the deities, even in the way of childhood play. By the grace of Lord Shri Kṛṣṇa, we had the chance of being born in a Vaishnava family, and in our childhood we imitated the worship of Lord Kṛṣṇa by imitating our father. Our father encouraged us in all respect to observe all functions such as Rathayatra and Dol Yatra ceremonies, and he used to spend money liberally for distributing prasad to us children and our friends. Our spiritual master, who also took his birth in a Vaishnava family, got all inspiration from his great Vaishnava father, Thakur Bhaktivinoda, and that is the way of all lucky Vaishnava families. The celebrated Mirabai was a staunch devotee of Lord Kṛṣṇa as the great lifter of Govardhan Hill. The life history of many such devotees is almost the same, because there is always symmetry between the early lives of all great devotees of the Lord. According to Jīva Gosvāmī, Mahārāja Parīkṣit must have heard about the childhood pastimes of Lord Kṛṣṇa at Vrindavan, for he used to imitate the pastimes with his young playmates. According to Śrīdhara Svāmī, Mahārāja Parīkṣit used to imitate the worship of the family deity by elderly members. Śrīla Viśvanātha Cakravartī also confirms the viewpoint of Jīva Gosvāmī. So accepting either of them, Mahārāja Parīkṣit was naturally inclined to Lord Kṛṣṇa from his very childhood. He may have imitated either of the above-mentioned activities, and all of them establish his great devotion from his very childhood as symptoms of a mahā-bhāgavata. Mahā-bhāgavatas are called nitya-siddhas, or souls liberated from birth. But there are also others who may not be liberated from birth, but who develop a tendency for devotional service by association, and they are called sādhana-siddhas. There is no difference between the two in the ultimate issue, and so the conclusion is that everyone can become a sādhana-siddha, a devotee of the Lord, simply by association with the pure devotees. The concrete example is our great spiritual master, Śrī Nārada Muni. In his previous life, he was simply a boy of a maidservant, but through association with great devotees, he became a devotee of the Lord of his own standard, unique in the history of devotional service. Hare Krishna. So, here in this verse, Srila Prabhupada, and he's giving us examples. He's showing us actually the activities of Parīkṣit Maharaj. And we know that when he was already in the womb of his mother, then he was attacked by the Brahmastra of Ashwatthama. And surely, he would be killed. Brahmastra is a very powerful weapon. And that can be used to destroy the whole world, or even just like one person. So it was actually the second one which Ashwatthama threw. Anyway, point is that Krishna saved Parīkṣit Maharaj. So Parīkṣit Maharaj, already in the womb, he had darshan of Krishna as Paramatma. He had seen how Krishna saved him. And he constantly, he remembered that. He remembered it in the womb. He remembered that even afterwards. He knew. And actually he was searching. He was searching for Krishna. And as we see, because he was a devotee before, so he got the great opportunity to be born in devotee's family. And in such family, the family of the Pāṇḍavas, and Krishna is the center, and everything is happening around Krishna. So he was fortunate enough to see that applied. That was his experience. And, well, as we know, we should know, education then happens in 3 stages. First one is Shravanam. Then we hear. That's the original method. But reading about or discussions about so many ways. Nowadays, internet, you can learn so many things. But it's still just learning. So we know, we may have a lot of knowledge. But unless and until this knowledge is applied and used, then it's not useful really. There was one guy, and many years ago when there were landlines, so he remembered the phone directory of New York. Okay, so there must have been many books, but he had a photographic memory, and so he could have actually memorized it. All right. And what about that? How do you use it? Maybe if he wants to call somebody in Europe, okay, it may be good. But phones also change. Point is that you may have a great knowledge. You may memorize so many things. But if they are not used or applied, then what is the use? Yeah, I mean, we had, when I was studying, then there was one boy, and he had memorized all about warships of Second World War. You tell him a ship, and he will tell you everything about it. He will tell you, how many troops could be there, or what cannons were there, or length, breadth, anything which you want, he will tell you. He memorized it. But what can you do with that knowledge? So Shravanam, it's important, but Shravanam, gathering the knowledge, it's not ultimate. And even, say for example, memorizing Bhagavad Gita. Just if we memorize the verses, then you can recite the verses, but unless we know the meaning of them, and unless we know especially the purpose of Srila Prabhupada, what is the use? So the next step after Shravanam, when we memorize, when we know, then Mananam. Mananam is contemplation, or actually deliberation. How are we going to use the knowledge which we have got in our life? That's very important. This is actually the practice of it, or preliminary practice. Like example, like if you want to know about, you want to learn how to play harmonium, you can read volume of books about it. You can learn everything about saregama, you can learn the ragas, you can learn everything about. But then, if you come in front of the harmonium, can you play? You don't have the practice. You don't have the experience, so it will be very difficult, right? Or if somebody explains to you, how driving of the car functions, theoretically, just read books about it. Then you sit behind the wheel, can you drive the car immediately? You need some practice. So that practice is, part of the practice is also contemplation. Then we are thinking about how I am going to apply it. So in the harmonium, right? So, okay, there is a saregama. Then now how do they sound? And where do I find them on the harmonium? And then how do I sing them? Maybe there are people who can immediately sing without prior experience, but generally people need to practice. So you need to train your voice. And it takes time. It takes hours how to properly train the voice, and how to play it, and how to understand the melodies, and how to properly put it in practice. So first, while learning the theory of it, then there is a contemplation. How am I going to use it? And then practical application. The practical application gives me some realization. Maybe the realization will be in the beginning, I don't know how to sing properly. Okay, that's also a realization. That's the last step, that's nidya-siddhas. But with that realization, what do I do? What do I get? I get now more enthusiasm, more drive to learn more. So with that little realization, even it can be maybe that I don't know properly how to sing, but I want to. I have realized I don't know, but I want to. So go learn a little bit more. practice a little bit more, contemplate a little bit more. What will happen? Oh, now I can sing a little bit. Now I know how it functions. In fact, traditionally, when the teacher would teach singing somebody, then the very traditional ones, for 1 year, they will just make you sing sa. Just one note. You learn how to sing this note. Now, that will create perfect realization that you know one note. But from the one note, then everything else manifests. So you will know how to sing the note anytime, anywhere. So you can be assured that you can get your scale. So, the depth of the realization, right? So then we realize something. Now I know a little bit how to sing, but I want to know more. So what do? Again, go back to the Shravanam. Learn it a bit more, Mananam, contemplate, practice, and then you get your realization. How far will you go? No, to the end, beginning, and until you are satisfied, until you get what you wanted. That's the depth of the realization we get. But if you really want the top, then you will just keep going, and ultimately, any realization, the top of any realization is to realize the connection of the subject with Krishna. That's the topmost. So, now we see Parīkṣit Maharaj here. He hears about Krishna. He sees his father worshipping him. He sees others talking about him. They have deities. He sees the worship. So what he does? He wants to do the same. He wants to develop the same. He imitates first, but he sees the respect of his father, of his mother. He sees the respect, what they have, and he is also getting the respect. He is also developing the respect for the deity just by imitating. So, he is getting the results. Why? Because he has the desire. And Krishna will arrange it for him. He had the desire, then in the previous life, that, as Srila Prabhupada mentioned, he was a devotee. So he had the desire to continue in bhakti. And Krishna then arranged it for him that he was able to be born in the family of Vaishnavas. So these are the activities of great devotees. We see Srila Prabhupada, then he also points out that he had the same experience. He was born in the family of Vaishnavas. He saw his father worshipping deities. So he also wanted to, and he did. He was given the opportunity. In Calcutta, there is still the temple. I don't know actually it is still there. The Radha Govinda temple. Next to Chitpur. There was the original place where they lived. The Malik place. I heard that there was some development happening. I'm not sure. But anyway, it was there some time ago. Maybe it's still there. Still there, yeah? And the deities are still there. You can go and visit. It's on the crossing of Mahatma Gandhi Road and Chitpur Road. So you can see the deities. So those are the deities Srila Prabhupada talks about. No? He had experience. During Ratha Yatra, then he had his own small Jagannath deities, and then he got a cart, and then he had Ratha Yatra. So that was how Srila Prabhupada, as a small child, was spending his time, worshipping the deities as a playing. But then he also got the samskara. He got the experience of that. And then later on, then he got proper deities, his deities, and he would worship them. So the exposure of children to these kind of samskaras helps very much, because then later on, what they practice, that's their mananam. They are meditating on it. They see that. They see others doing. So then, they get realizations in the early childhood, and then they just want to continue in that. So that will be great benefit for them by exposing them to these activities. Now, if you expose them to other activities, then they will get attachment for those activities. Nowadays, it's a lot of illicit activities. Drugs, alcohol, gambling. No. It's unfortunate, but the same thing. It's a meditation on that, and one gets attachment for that. And it's not good. So now we see Srila Prabhupada saying that it's a great boon when the Jiva can get born in the family of the Vaishnavas or of the rich aristocrats. And we see the example of Bharat Maharaj, right, that he was great devotee, but he was, at the time of his death, actually, he was attached to a small deer, which he saved. And because of that, then what is the thought at the time of death, then one goes to. So he became a deer. But by Krishna's mercy, he retained his memory. So he knew who he was before. He knew what mistake he had done. So as a deer, as soon as he was born, basically, he knew what's happening, and he got separated from his mother and probably died very soon. Only to take birth again as a human. But again, he remembered what he had done. So, he was born in a Brahmana family. And the father was very nice to him. He was trying to teach him everything what Brahmana boys should know. And Bharat Maharaj, that time, then his name was Jada Bharat. Jada meaning crazy. But he was not crazy. He was just too intelligent. He was very intelligent. He had his memory. He knew what happened. And he did not want that to happen again. So he didn't want to develop any attachment. So therefore, he just pretended, being dumb. And sure enough, well, father was very compassionate. He was very affectionate to him. But when the father died, his brothers, they were not. They just chased him away. And he was not angry. He just left. And he just pretended to be crazy for everyone. And at some point, then Maharaj Rahugana, then he picked him up as a crazy guy, kind of like for carrying his palanquin, but got the opportunity to hear from Bharat. And he thought he was crazy, but after speaking, he understood he is self-realized person. So that's the realization. So now, we should try to come to the point of self-realization. But, now as Srila Prabhupada says, this is the boon. But, who can guarantee that we will be born in the family of Vaishnavas or of rich people? Okay, we hear that. But who will guarantee that we want to continue? Right? Who will, just to be born in a Vaishnava family doesn't mean that the child later on becomes Vaishnava. Or being born in the rich family doesn't mean that he will use that riches for developing Vaishnava qualities. So he may get the opportunity, but by association, he may develop different samskaras. And he may sway from the path, and maybe for some time, maybe some lifetimes. We see the great Ajamil, right? No, he was a great brahmachari. Then he was swayed from the path of devotion for a very long time until the end of his life. But at the end of his life, he remembered, and he was fortunate enough to get another chance. So that's great. I mean, he is great. That's why he's in Bhagavatam. We may not get that opportunity. So, thinking that we should take it easy in this lifetime, and because I'm practicing devotee, I did something little bit. So then I will be born in some rich family or a family of a devotee later on, next lifetime. I can continue. Take it easy now. By chanting Namabhas, which means that devotee who is chanting with Namaparat, but not intentionally. He does not want to commit Namaparat, but he is. Say like initiative chanting, but not intentionally, then it's Namabhas chanting. Namabhas chanting gives everything. It's very auspicious. It's a great way to chant. There is only one thing which Namabhas doesn't give, and that's Bhakti. But everything else, it fulfills. So, a devotee, after passing away, he may actually go and he may enjoy his activities for very, very long time in the heavenly planets. Because it's so pious. There is no more pious activities than Bhakti. But if we don't make it, and if we just maintain it on the platform of Mishra Bhakti, then we may not be able to transcend this material world, but we will be able to enjoy the results of the pious activities. So we may just end up in heavenly planets. And maybe some great heavenly planets. And maybe for some very, very long time. But then, heavenly planets are still material world, and they are still temporary. Even Brahmaloka, which is the highest, Brahma has a lifespan. So, compared to us, it is almost unlimited. But it's not unlimited. It ends. And to him, his life feels like, the length of the life feels like our life. He doesn't feel it like almost unlimited. He feels it like 100 years. Because he also has a day and has a night, like we experience here, just is a little longer. So, now, we may spend a lot of time there in the heavenly planets, enjoying. And problem with the heavenly planets is that there is a lot of enjoyment that the demigods generally don't think of Krishna unless they are in trouble. So, yeah, we may go on enjoying the pious activities righteously, which we have done here, chanting of the holy name. But then, we come back here. And once we come back here to earth, what time will be? Where we will end? Maybe in Satya Yuga. Great, okay. Maybe, I don't know, maybe Treta Yuga, maybe Dvapara Yuga, maybe Kali Yuga. But how much chance will we have to be present during the time of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's teachings? It happens once in the day of Brahma. It happens once. And that's 1,000 Mahayugas. That's a day. And the same time is the night. So, what are the chances that we will be again part of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's movement? They will be part of Srila Prabhupada's movement. Of course, I mean, Krishna can do whatever he wants. He can arrange anything. But is it worth the risk? Maybe not. So, if we think about it, then these chances are quite limited. To risk that we will not be present in the movement of Srila Prabhupada, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, then if we realize that, then maybe we can start taking seriously the life, what we are doing right now. Our activities, what we are doing right now. Maybe we should make a decision, make a sankalpa. This is my last lifetime as a conditioned living being. I want to become the sādhana-siddha. I want to practice devotional service, and I want to come to perfection. This lifetime. I don't want to wait. I don't want to risk, for the next lifetime. It's just too risky. Maybe you will be fortunate. Maybe you will be kripa-siddha. No matter what you do, Krishna will give the purify you no matter what. But what are the acharyas preaching? We should just do whatever we want and we will all be kripa-siddhas? Or are they preaching we should practice Vaidhi Sarana Bhakti? But not for the sake of practicing the rules and regulations, but so then we can develop eventually to Raganuga Bhakti, Bhava Bhakti, Prema Bhakti. That should be our goal. This very lifetime. We should not be waiting. So we should be, our conscience should be clear that we are trying for it. It will be difficult. We are full of anarthas. samskaras, which we don't want to. We are conditioned so many ways. It happens. That's what it is. That's how we came. That's why we are here. But no matter how much dirt is there in the heart, we can get rid of it. But do it ourselves will be difficult. As Srila Prabhupada points out, it's not possible really for one alone to practice. We need association. Association of devotees, then helping each other. Trying to see, how we can help someone in the process, because next time it can be us who need the same help. But if we care about each other, if we have compassion for each other, then we can at least be more assured that we have the chance. We have the chance to transcend this material world. And that's the purpose of our being here. That's the purpose of our limited human life. So, how we can do it is we have to develop the desire to do it. Everything else will be taken care of by Krishna. But we have to develop the desire. This is the only thing which we can control. Nothing else is under our control, only desire. So developing the desire, I want to become servant of the Lord. I want to develop bhakti in depth. I want to serve Krishna in whatever capacity. Maybe in Vaikuntha, maybe in Goloka, whatever you have. That's the desire you can develop. Everything else, it's not under your control, but if you have the desire, Krishna will make it happen. But if your desire is, I like to do devotional service, but at the same time, no, I like to just enjoy this and then do that, then Krishna will let us play a little longer. It's a game. It's a play. But if we decide, I don't want to play anymore, I want to be serious now, please, Krishna, help me. He will do it immediately, instantly. And in Bhagavatam, it's described that Krishna becomes Hari. You desire that you want to be purified, you desire that you want to get rid of all your attachment, Krishna will take it away. Just because you desire it. If you don't desire it, Krishna will keep it, he will give you more, just play a little more. First you get tired, then I'll help you. So he is very compassionate, he's like a father to us. He is a father, actually, he's our father. So he wants to see that we are happy and satisfied. So now we want to play, he will let us. But let's use this lifetime to figure out that maybe that should be the end of our play. Just develop the desire, I'm tired of it. And then we can get we can see Krishna in the action, how he can help us through Chaitya Guru. Instantly. And that's what happened to Parīkṣit Maharaj. He saw Krishna in action as a Paramatma, how he protected him, how he took care. So, if we are sincere and sincerely desire Krishna's help, he is there immediately. He's always with us. We just choose not to see him. We choose not to listen to him. That's our desire. Because I like my false ego. I like to act according to my anarthas. That makes me a certain person. I get respect from some. So makes my personality. It's based on false ego. It's based on this bodily platform. But nonetheless, I get attached to it. And if I would get purified, who will I become? It becomes very abstract. What does it mean to be servant of the Lord? Does it mean that my friends will not like me anymore? Does it mean that I will not like activities which I was doing until now? Maybe I don't want that. Maybe I'm a little fearful about it. I may not try it, or let's try it a little bit here and there, but still maintain the attachments a little bit. You want that? Krishna will arrange for that. You can keep your attachments, you can get a little purified, practice Mishra Bhakti. But to develop the proper desire, I don't want that attachments anymore, because now I'm convinced. I'm convinced that the spiritual life can give me everything what I was getting from the material attachment and more. And how do we get that? In association. Association with the mahā-bhāgavatas, association with Bhagavatam, Śrīla Prabhupada. So the acharyas, by studying them, then we can develop the conviction. Oh, there is nothing to fear. Yes, it's true. I can get there. Just I have to be sincere myself. And sincere means I have to develop the right desire. Everything else will be taken care of. So, and that's the message of Śrīla Prabhupada. So anybody can make it, anybody can do it in this very lifetime and then make it successful. Hare Krishna. Any questions? Take the mic.
Hare Krishna Maharaj. As it is mentioned in Bhagavad Gita that next destination is decided if I don't finish my bhakti completely, so I may or may not be born in a devotee family. So that is, but again you made it clear that it depends on the association, what kind of association I'm in. So similarly, is association also destined, or it depends on the desire of the soul, what kind of association we may get, or maybe I just want to understand.
See, first, the character of the person is formed by his samskaras. So, the parents should do the Dashavida samskara. As Srila Prabhupada in Bhagavad Gita also in the 16th chapter, he says, if you want your child to develop divine qualities, you have to perform the 10 principles of human life, which they are the 10 samskaras, starting with Garbharana. So this is what the parents can do for the child to give him, how do you say that? Auspicious, but like you save some money for him, right? So then for security. So the same thing, you can actually give him the gift of the samskaras. It's not about you, it's about him. Because these samskaras, they develop the proper intelligence, mind. He will be less sick, he's going to be more protected. So he will be more peaceful. In that situation, practice devotional activities will be easier. the samskaras themselves don't develop devotion, but they help to create the body which is more conducive for practicing devotional service. So that's the samskaras develop part, maybe like around 40% you can say, of what he is going to be like. But even after that he is born and all the samskaras are done, then still the rest, the 60%, would be association. Ajamil, you can be assured that he got all the samskaras perfectly done. And he was a good brahmachari. But he got into the bad association. And he got attached in the association. So, now, in that situation, then he was not properly protected. Maybe he didn't want to, or the society didn't care or neglected at the time. But one moment of the wrong association and he was in it for the rest of his life. But fortunately enough, he got another chance. So association is very important. Association is what even can override the samskaras. That's why it is, you see devotees who never received any samskaras, only the bad ones. First smoking and first drinking or whatever it may be. So those are also samskaras, impressions, but the bad ones. Now, again, these can be overrid by association. So that's how Srila Prabhupada was able to make from hippies devotees. As hippies, they had plenty of bad samskaras, but they became pure devotees. So the association is the most important. And as Rupa Gosvāmī in Uparishramrita, he tells us among the 6 activities which we should never do, that we should avoid jana sangha. We should avoid association of non-devotees. And in the next verse, he says what we should do, and again, one of the most important, associate with devotees. It is important. And we should also try to understand what does it mean, associating or not associating. Well, okay, now here among the devotees, right? But then, if you go outside somewhere, you may not be in the association of devotees. So, what do we have to do? You have to avoid that. You have to just close yourself, some in the room and kind of like, this is my association and nowhere else. No, association, it's, the way how to associate, there are 2 kinds. One is giving association, one is taking association. So, you take association from those whom you know that you can gain something from. So you are looking for association of devotees, take association from the senior devotees, and then gather from them, gain from that. But to somebody who is junior, and they can be devotees or it can be even non-devotees, you can just give your association to them, you can still associate and still become more Krishna conscious, and plus they become more Krishna conscious. Prahlad Maharaj, when he was in Gurukul, then what did he do? He was alone devotee among demons, and the greatest demons of the world at the time. So did they beat him up and did they kind of like just make sure that he demon again? No. He was so confident about devotional service that he made all the demons into devotees, alone, by his conviction. So that's what it becomes, the association. We have to learn when to give and when to take. And then we can associate with anyone without being in danger that we are in some jana sangha. Yeah?
Thank you so much.
Hare Krishna. Yes.
Maharaj, thank you for the class. You mentioned a very important point, like any decision we take, we see our desires, our attachments, or we see Krishna. What does Krishna want? What will please Krishna? So, like sometimes in life, we take decisions like this career path we are taking, we are relocating here. So, how do we know that we are acting based on attachments, or are we...
Look, if you are thinking about it, you come to your intelligence, your mind, you come to as your thought. I'm thinking, should I do this career, this career? As long as you are thinking about it, it's you who, like it's your bodily platform. It's your intelligence, your mind not thinking about it. It's nothing to do really with Krishna. You may experience Krishna as some, what's the word? Forgot. Anyway, so like intention, you may anyway, like intuition or something that you feel like you should do, but then you start thinking about it and you figure out it's my idea, right? But that little intuition, that's Paramatma. And then you decide whether you want to do it or not and how you want to do it. So you take the credit for it. But then, now, if you take it, follow it as it is, then you start understanding, actually, this is Krishna's desire. So that is, when the purity is there, and we don't try to, like exercise our ability to think and to decide and not to do it, but rather seeing actually what is the real intention, what is the real desire of Krishna. If we desire that, we will be able to perceive it. So that's the difference.
Sometimes what happens is like we have taken a decision. We have already taken one, like this is the career path. Then we come to see that the other option would have been more like feasible. Then does that mean that we have taken the wrong decision, or like...
Well, you may have taken the wrong decision, but even from the wrong decision you can learn not to continue in that and rather switch as soon as possible to other. But this is the process of ascending knowledge. And there is always a problem because we are thinking about how to do it, but we don't know what it is. The Shastra is teaching us to learn by descending process. So we know what the goal is. We just need to fit the proper pieces, how to get to the goal. Ascending knowledge, we don't know really what the goal is. Is there God, or there is no God, or some aliens, or this? So you are pursuing this. Oh, no, this doesn't work. The whole life I was working for, but now I realize it's not, and I have no time to really figure out what there is. So the ascending knowledge is never absolute, it's never complete. But the Shastra speaks of absolute truth, Supreme Personality of Godhead. So we know He is there. Now we need to figure out how to get there. That's all. So that's the difference between those two processes. So the Paramatma is guiding us as a Chaitya Guru not to the absolute. But do we have the desire to go there or not yet? Then we will just take it easy, going slowly, or we will see it as an emergency and we will just go for it quickly. It's up to us. Yeah. Hare Krishna. Okay, so the last one, yeah.
Thank you for the lesson. So it is important, the association, but this association happens automatically, like a destiny that a person or the person need to look for the association by himself.
You have to desire the association. If you desire the association, then Krishna will provide for you. If you really want some association of devotees, then Krishna will guide you how you can get the association.
Okay, so sometimes you may try, but may not happen. So is that something from the previous life, what you did, the karma?
No, maybe you're not ready for it yet. No, maybe you are still you need to get a little more purified before you actually get the right association. But right now we are in Mayapur. You see, Śrīdhara Mayapur, that's a holy dham. So you are here. You are in association of devotees. Now take advantage of that. Try to properly associate with all the devotees. No, not just kind of like I say, oh, I was in Mayapur. What did you do? Oh, I don't know. No, I was sleeping. No. So not like that. Just try to take the association and you will. Krishna is definitely guiding you that you can have the association. Now take the advantage of.
Okay, the time has to come, or you keep trying. A person have to.
You keep
desire.
You
okay.
keep desiring. Krishna will arrange it.
Okay.
Hare Krishna. Jai Granthraj Srimad Bhagavatam ki. Śrīla Prabhupada ki. Jai Nitai Gaur Pramanande.